Hi, Paul Sakis, Good News Broadcast, and you're watching the Water Hour. Hi, how are you? All right, so a couple updates here. Once again, the water, H2O equals life, is at the Museum of Natural History, and I think we're going to be able to get over there and do some taping and share some of the great information that is coming out of that. Last week we had a wonderful program with super people. When we talked about healthy waters are always of interest. And I think we've mentioned a few times a reminder that all the water on planet Earth, on Mother Earth, has been here for however many years anybody knows we have been here, but at least 4 billion plus years. So every drop of water that's on planet Earth was here before. So there's no such thing as fresh water. It's all been here, and that's why water is such an important commodity. In fact, the water that you might be drinking today, it might have come from a dinosaur. As stated here in this book, but hence that is the reality of life, because even the rain comes from the water that's here existing on planet Earth. A couple thoughts and concerns, I guess, that people have been sharing. I guess one here is in Spain. The water was shipped in Parched City. That in Barcelona, they've boat loaded with drinking water docked in Barcelona, the first in its series of shipments to starve off shortages in the city. Okay, the shipments are part of a broad effort to alleviate the impact of the worst drought in the region of Catalonia in decades. Okay, so that's as we've mentioned many times here. We're here not to talk about anything that is, in essence, negative. We're not putting blame on anybody with water. We're just trying to bring out the realities of what the world is seeing in regard to water. So please also send us your comments. Here's bottled water is a paradox, both banned and required, from the New York Times. After 2 years of extremely heated debate, that included references to ecology, so these are all in regard to water, history, geography, and the politics of selling or buying mass-produced cupcakes. The Park Slope Food Co-op in Brooklyn voted at the end of last month to discontinue the sale of bottled water. Okay, so as everybody's learning more and more and becoming more environmentally minded, and from their sinks to their toilets to every aspect of our lives, which is all good news, because the awareness level of, I think, environment has grown significantly, and there are many ways that we can conserve, and usually the best way to conserve is reduce, reuse, recycle. So if you can focus on that, you're probably ahead of the game. Okay, so today we have two wonderful guests who have a wonderful company, and they're in our same building, our green recycled TV studio building, and actually I'd say probably all the floors here have people who are concerned about the environment, and they have a company called Greenspaces NY. Well, that's their website, greensspacesny.com. But we have Jenny Nevin. Hi, Jenny. How are you?
Hi, Paul. Good.
And Marissa Feinberg.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How you doing?
All right, good. So tell us a little bit about Greenspaces. NY, is that the title of the company?
It's Greenspaces. Our website is greensspacesny.com.
Okay.
So this is our first location that we've opened.
Hobbs, excuse me. I
Hobbs.
apologize.
Say hi, Hobbs. Hey, look at the cameras. Oh, that was very good. Hobbs is our office manager.
We love it. We have it, and we have Avery here, and has always been here as well. So this is super.
So it's a very friendly building.
It's a very friendly building.
Marissa and I actually started Greenspaces. We started a group called Green Leaders a year ago in New York City, and it's really to bring together a community of green leaders in the city, and it's taken off and gelled so that people have a chance to come together every other month. We feature a key speaker on different topics each time, and we have it in a key location in the city, so they have a chance to view this location. From that experience, we realized that there was a lot of relationships that were happening, and we wanted to provide that opportunity to entrepreneurs that were at the forefront of different green industries in New York City so that they could come together and have that network in place as entrepreneurs, and then also access our Green Leaders Network.
Great, great. And when did you all start this?
We started about a year ago. It was in May. We had our first event. It was featured at the Kitchen and Chelsea, the Cleaver Company. And it was just 10 of us sitting around at dinner. and it just sort of grew. We had an overwhelming response. In fact, our last event, which was at Soho House, which featured the African Rainforest Conservancy, we had over 80% response, and people had to stand in the back at the screening. It was a good problem to have.
Great. Actually, we were just last night at the Soho House for the first time.
Okay.
And actually for environmentally minded outreach that PS6 on about 81st and East End will be doing. They're going to take their building, public school, and they're going to make it into an environmentally friendly school and take the roof and do all kinds of outreach. So just last night. Actually, and we're going to follow that. Saturday night is another event. Tuesday's an event.
That's great. That's actually our next event that we're having at the Wild Project, which is it's a theater building, but they also have a gallery space in downtown Manhattan on the east side. I think it's the Lower East Side that building is. And it was built all environmentally friendly, but on the rooftop they also have a native plant garden. So we'll have the designer from the rooftop speak about the native plant garden that they have there. And then also the architects from Threadbare Cooperative, which designed this building, will be there to speak to us about their work.
Oh, marvelous. So when is that? We should come on down for that and tape some people.
Sure. It's June 5th.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we'd love to have you.
And it's so are your events open to the public, or how is it working so far? It's probably
They actually are not. The Green Leaders events are not open to the public because we try to keep it intimate so that we really create the community, which we feel that the community has started to develop within this, and people have a chance to forge connections across these different industries. So right now we're actually, we're pretty much at capacity with Green Leaders, although we're always open to a few others to let in, but we want to keep that community feeling and retain that spirit going forward.
And we are going to be starting some new networking groups through our new business. What we want to do is we want to create separate groups for different people who are interested in different green initiatives. Some companies are interested in going green and they want to meet other people who offer these green services. And so that's going to be a way for them to become more green and allow the people who are within the green world to get access to new customers and new clients and sort of spread the word and allow people to go green.
Let's go backwards a little bit because I know you all met at a dinner or event that you all got together, but I imagine that there's something inside of both of you that has been gelling or been involved with other things, and to actually now work hard to make this a career and to build out you're upstairs and you're getting new other organizations connected to you and so on and so forth. So do you recollect anything in your life that has brought you to where you are today?
I actually remember the turning point when I became passionate about what was happening within the world in terms of needing to become more sustainable. I'd read an article in Time magazine about the state of the world, and that stuck in my mind. So for a year I went and worked, but I ended up going back and taking graduate classes at Harvard Night School on environmental studies and sustainability, and worked at a nonprofit. And through that, I remember one of our professors said that this is going to require change across all different industries. So go back to the industry that you're in and make a difference with that. My industry was finance, so I went back and received my MBA and worked at Merrill here in New York City for a few years, but always in the back of my mind was thinking, how can we end up making a change within that? And then I've been doing consulting work, raising financing for some of these new green economy companies, and Marissa and I realized that what we're really strong at was creating this network and bringing these people together so that we could help create this community and they can tap into each other's resources.
All right, I love it. That's really super. How about you, Marissa?
Well, I have a background in nonprofits. I came from the General Electric Foundation, and growing up, my mother was a social worker, and she really raised me with the spirit of giving and helping others and equality among people. And so I also always was very socially minded. In college, I started a group called Peers Eliminating Oppression and Prejudice by Learning and Educating Together. It's called People Together. And so when I moved to New York, I was really searching for a way to bring together what I had learned in the past, and I actually started working at Design 21 Social Design Network, which brings together different organizations around the world around the theme of better design for the greater good. And the concept is that everything we see and everything we use has been designed, and that designers have a responsibility to incorporate these social issues like environment into what they're doing. And this was a great way for me to sort of get out there and network with people. My role is partnership development, and so I built a network of nearly 250 organizations. And from this, I became involved with Jenny's idea for Green Leaders, and we really reached out to who we knew in the New York community to bring people together.
You know, it's beautiful. You're both actually, you know, young people, and compared to me, okay, so, and I'm seeing so much of the youth, young people. I know, I'm sorry, if you, so I'm almost 60, right? So I'm I think older than both of you, maybe both of you together. So the thought is, I see a tremendous interest in caring for the planet now. Over the last years, and I helped start the Nature series 25 years ago on PBS, and I did a show, I remember in 1990, called Earth 90. It was the World Earth Day, because there's lots of Earth Day with UNEP, United Nations Environmental Program, and John Denver and Olivia Newton-John. And so I've been around this for a long time, and within the last 10 or so years, and on that show in 1990, there was equal amount of young people watching that show as older. Okay. So I see something's in the air. Okay, or maybe it's the air that's maybe it's the pollution in the air. Maybe there's something in the air, or maybe it's something where parents of younger people, like your mother's a social worker, are instilling some very strong community-minded values. I mean, social networks, the MySpaces and so on. People want to get together. Yeah. What do you see? How do you see this all?
I mean, I definitely see there's a tipping point in terms of awareness and an understanding of the fact that we live within the environment and we're running against constraints. And I think Al Gore's movie, when he came out with that was right around that period of time, January and February of 2006, when you started to notice that people were really becoming aware of this. And I think that by becoming aware that we're running up against these resource constraints in the world, you started to realize that you live in something bigger beyond just yourself, that you're dependent on more than just yourself going out and doing your own individual thing. It actually is all interrelated. So I think that those two things fed on themselves. Not only do you become more environmentally aware, but then you realize that you're part of a bigger community, and we all are in this together. So I think they are self-reinforcing.
Yeah, I agree with Jenny, and I think also that with this new generation of MySpace and YouTube and people who are young and everywhere, being able to have a voice, I think that people like us who are young and who are making a difference, there's more and more of that happening, and it's really wonderful to know.
And you can really get a lot of things done. You can really get a group together to discuss something, right?
Yep. Yeah, and that's a great point. I think that the fact that that it's so easy to connect with different people with Facebook, with MySpace, with internet, so we can send out email invitations to everyone. It's a lot easier to pull in like-minded people together and really create your own little force that then can draw more people.
Then and you accumulate it all. It is amazing. One button, you have your community, and boom, 300, 500. We got 5,000-6,000 on our list, and boom.
Yep.
And they all
get that message out.
They know when I made a misspelling.
Yeah.
That's
the unfortunate part about it. Everything's exposed.
Yeah, it's very open. Well, it's transparency, I think, is the word now. So. And I think as a result of the word transparency in these medias, the new media, let's call it, to a certain, in the old days, in our days, it was Big Brother was watching. Okay, was the term that was used, and that was in essence, I think, the government. Yeah. But in essence, now everybody is watching each other and can watch each other. And if somebody does something that's not probably so good, and people really don't like it, they in essence can blog them, they can write them, and if a lot of people want to see that, it does appear.
You're right. It holds people more accountable.
Yeah. So I guess that's and as everything else, used in a good way, in a positive way, and not on a focus on the negative, because in essence, all of us have our own ways of, I mean, we have lights on, so we're using electricity, so we're using oil, so we're using, and I have leather belt on, so I had, unfortunately had to, an animal had to suffer as a result of all these things. I think we were trying to figure out how to deal with things. Your organization, what kind of companies then do you want to have?
That's what, yeah. I was just going to say that because in terms of focusing on the positive, with the companies that we're looking for companies that are really making a difference in the core of their operations. So not focus on what they're not doing, but what they're really doing at the forefront to make a difference within each different industry group. So for example, one of our clients is at the forefront of finance in terms of helping to monetize and create value for farmers that are farming sustainably or managing their rangeland sustainably, so that if they are doing that in a sustainable fashion, they can sell those carbon credits and earn money off of. So he aligns basically them doing good with also earning additional value by doing good. So he's really at the forefront of a new area of finance. Yeah,
and our group is a really great platform for him to spread the word about what he's doing, because there are so many different people who are in our group, from executive directors of nonprofits to marketing people of other green businesses, and when they all connect and they share their story with one another, that's how they each move forward, and that's how they get value out of what they're doing, because they have this opportunity to directly connect with each other.
And because also I think what you're saying is, any good news broadcast needs finance, good news broadcast needs marketing. Every organization that you have needs finance, needs marketing.
Exactly.
Right? And so if there is, that one person or that has some additional knowledge and is like-minded to begin with, you're working on something that everybody kind of believes in to begin with.
Yeah.
It all is probably coming together nicely.
It is. And just how we're here interviewing with you, and we get to share a story and have an opportunity in your platform to do that, and you have an opportunity to learn about a new environmental story in New York. We're also creating that network, too, with what we're doing within Greenspaces. So we have a network of partners that each provide something, and then we're sharing. So our 5 key partners right now are, we have Ride Amigos that provides ride share to work. So they'll provide ride share to work and to our events. And then
what kind of
so for the Green Leaders events, we'll use Ride Amigos, and then also for our reception that we're having.
Car, I'm thinking of the 3 amigos. Steve Martin and Martin Short, and who was the other amigo? All right, but in any case, they were on horses, I think.
Okay. Actually, horses would be kind of cool.
Horses are, okay.
So it's basically taxi share. So rather than each take an individual taxi to events, you can all go in and share a taxi.
Super.
The other partner that we have is Drosera, who provides native plants and flowers, and they source all native and local plants and flowers. So they provide our plants and flowers for our events. And then in return, they get the chance to be exposed to all these different green groups.
Sure.
We also have Greenhouse Eco Cleaners, which is our cleaning service, and they use all natural cleaning products, and they provide all of our cleaning weekly at our space, and in return, they get to use our conference room space every week for their meetings that they have.
Beautiful.
And then we
that's
use
upstairs here?
Yeah, that's these. Yeah. So you should meet them if you like. Yeah. And then the fourth partner.
Come on down. Yeah. If they have any extra time. Okay.
Is Revolution Rickshaws, and they provide our messenger services. And they have rickshaws, and they provide all bike transportation, cargo.
Real Asian rickshaws things.
Yeah.
Around the city. Mm-hmm. But they don't have a person. They have sort of a bicycle rickshaws.
Yeah, they bicycle rickshaws.
Right, okay.
And they have trikes, and they're actually a great form of advertising, too, because they have the ad trikes.
Wow, so these are really...
So these are our partners.
Yes, okay.
Were there any other partners? Those are their key partners.
Those are our key partners right now. There are various other groups that we might be working with going forward, because we will need many things. We're going to need eco-printer. We're going to need coffee in the office, and these are things that we're looking for strategic partners on. If you know anybody.
I think it's a great idea. We've been very fortunate also over the years to have a lot of people, in essence, in the old days it was almost called barter, I think was the word that I think the Dutch spoke to the Indians about. Here on Manhattan Island. I think they gave them something and they got some beads and they gave them the island. So everybody's been bartering. Bartering is probably the first form of commodity exchange for years. So in
Yeah.
essence, this is sort of like a barterish
It is.
outreach of a way to live, which is, you know, I give you, you give me a little, and not necessarily this green money is the you know, the form of exchange, right?
Yep, exactly. And that's what we hope from our other Green Space members, too, that they'll have a chance then to share their services as a startup company. That can sometimes be the most valuable way that you can get launched off the ground, is to be able to provide your expertise and then in exchange for the other company in a different industry's
Yeah, because
expertise.
it's just a matter of, you know, making sure that you get your product or service to the right people, and that's what we help people do.
And another thing nice about, I hear what you're doing, I think what occurs is that when you barter with somebody or you make this kind of an arrangement, there's actually there's a commitment. There is this kind of banding together.
You're right. That's a great point.
It's not just that, you know, when you know, put down $5, you buy the you know, in essence, the sandwich, or you buy, you know, you pay $30, they come and they clean your apartment, and it's over, right? And then it's $30. If you don't like what happened, you call whoever's running it and, you know, say, you know, it wasn't like.
Yeah.
So then you start to negotiate. In other words, money.
Yeah.
Green, the real, you know, everybody's talking green, and it's almost which is good news, is that green, the money green, is almost, I think, to a certain degree, with certain people, with lots of people, more and more, is sort of like almost on the side.
Yeah.
We're thinking about the real green of life.
Exactly.
And that's why you're called Green
Green
Spaces.
Spaces.
Well, that's great.
So we have our kickoff reception May 28th. We'll have an open house, which is open to the public.
Okay.
And
All of you are welcome.
and if you know any green entrepreneurs that are looking
Okay.
for a space and a network to share.
Yeah,
Okay.
the open house will be all day from 10 to 5:30, and then afterwards we're going to be having cocktails. If you'd like to come by after work until 8:30.
Okay, and that's here at...
That's here
our
up on the
building?
5th floor.
All right, so it's at 33 Flatbush Avenue. It's called the Metropolitan Exchange Bank,
Yes.
and you're on the 5th floor. They have a very gorgeous office. They have
Oh,
beautiful
thanks.
fraternity, because Uncle Al...
Thanks to Al.
Uncle Al has...
We're
so
very
many-
fortunate.
So many, in addition to the Biltmore curtains and Grand Central and the Coney Island, all our things that we have here, the pianos from the streets or Steinway, whatever. Al has tons more.
Yeah, he's given us all of his New York City castaways, and it's beautiful vintage furniture that we have now filled
Right.
out in the space.
It's a great spot. So
It is.
and it's a great. He's got a beautiful kitchen up there, and so it should be a wonderful occasion. So it's on the 28th.
Yep, 28th of May.
May, which is a
Thursday.
Thursday. Okay. And all day people can come up and learn
Look
about
at the
what
space.
you do and see if there's ways to.
Yeah, to work together.
That's a beautiful thing. Okay. All
Great.
right. Well, thank you both very much.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
All right, thank you.
We didn't though spend much time, and I think we have to make sure that it's appropriate here. But Hobbs.
Oh,
Yes,
Hobbs.
Hobbs is being a little shy today.
He was a little nervous
What
about the
kind of
interview.
dog is Hobbs though?
Hobbs is a Jack Russell.
Jack Russell. Okay.
So Hobbs comes with me to work every day.
All right. That's a.
He helps to
beautiful-
manage the place,
Okay.
keep it a little bit more.
When
Fun.
you got his pitter patter going around, you don't mess around. Yeah, that's right.
So Hobbs sets the kind of the tone and
Yes.
the pacing
Yep.
of the office. Mm-hmm. Have you had Hobbs for some time?
I've had Hobbs for 5 years. He came with me from Minnesota, which is where I'm originally from,
Right. Okay.
and moved to New York City. He lives in the West Village in Manhattan. He has lots of friends,
Okay.
but he really likes coming to Brooklyn and hanging out in the space every day to go to work.
Hobbs is beautiful,
Thanks.
and by having Hobbs here, we also realize the animal kingdom, and I think that is so. With the word green, it's
Yep.
inseparable.
Exactly.
Right? We're all tied in.
Yeah,
this
we are all.
together.
Yep.
The animals, because in essence, when we build, we're actually building on top of animals, and we displace animals, and all these kinds of thoughts and concerns that need to also be part of our,
Yeah.
overall agenda.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Well, you guys got it together. All right, great.
Yeah.
Happy you're upstairs and here.
I
in the
know, this
building.
is great. We love having you in the
Thank
building.
you.
Yeah,
I
we're
really-
happy to be your neighbor.
Okay, all right, it's all good. of salt water and making it pure in an inexpensive manner, okay, then that's what we really want to know. And what John F. Kennedy said, the person who can help with the water concerns will win probably 2 Nobel Prize winners, one for peace and one for science. Okay, so thank you very much for sharing and for being part of our show, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you.